Hey guys, it's James over at the Wrestling Epicenter. I want to thank you for taking the time to check us out here on YouTube. If you haven't already done so, please do me a favor and click that subscribe button. Keep yourself informed on the latest videos that we upload. In addition, if you would do us a favor and slam that like button for us as well, maybe even share it on Facebook and Twitter, we would sure appreciate it. Let everyone know what you're listening to. Without any further delay, let's get to your video here on YouTube.
The following announcement has been paid for by the Wrestling Epicenter.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Hello, ladies. Remember me? Let me talk to you, dummies.
It's now time
It's beer time. TikTok.
It's showtime!
for the longest running wrestling talk show in history.
We are huge. It's gonna be cool.
You're where it's at.
You're smart like me.
Tune in each and every week.
And you better keep listening, or I'll come out of your computer
And turn it on for you.
or else I'm gonna kick your stinking teeth in.
We've been known by a few names.
The needs of the many far outweigh the needs of the few.
The interactive interview,
Interactive interview. Oh, yeah.
Interactive interview.
The interactive interview.
Interactive interview. The interactive interview.
interactive wrestling radio,
Interactive wrestling radio.
Interactive Wrestling Radio.
Interactive radio.
Interactive wrestling radio.
Interactive wrestling radio.
The Blaze,
Blaze 1260 AM.
The Blaze.
The Blaze.
Blaze. The Blaze Rock.
and a lot of other names.
Weekend Warrior of Wrestling. The Pile Driver.
The Epa Wrestling Center.
3 Count Wrestling. The Hour Slam.
But it's all one show, the Wrestling Epicenter.
Wrestling Epicenter. The Wrestling Epicenter.
The Epicenter.
Wrestling Epicenter, dude. The Wrestling Epicenter. Don't get off.
And your host from day one,
By ignorance or arrogance.
James Walsh.
Wake up, sleepyheads.
I could care less.
It all starts
What a rush. Oh, Boomer Sooner.
Thank you very much.
I got 2 words for you. Thumbs down. Breaking necks and cashing checks. I've heard a lot about you guys.
Check it out. Get out of my face. You win!
But I'm desperately out of time!
So what you gonna do when Blaze Mania runs wild on you?
now.
And our very special guest this week, Mr. Slyk Wagner Brown. How are you, Mr. Brown?
I'm good, man. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
Doing really well. It's good to have you on the program. Thanks, man. It's good to be here.
Okay, let's go way back. Were you a wrestling fan growing up?
Yeah, I was born in Jamaica and I came here when I was like 10 years old, and my aunt and uncle were big fans. They used to watch it all the time, so that's how I got hooked in. I started watching it with them.
Who were some of your favorites growing up?
Guys like Michaels, Rude, Savage, Steamboat, Perfect. I mean, it's a long list. Did you ever get to work with any of those guys? I worked with some of the guys. I never got to work with anyone on the list I just mentioned. But I got to work with guys like Waller, Kamala, guys like that. I've worked with a lot of guys from that's been there in the WWE.
Cool. And I believe you were trained at Killer Kowalski training camp.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay. What led you to go to Kowalski's camp over to another camp?
When it came time for me to take that step and get trained, I didn't have a lot of information. The internet wasn't big back then, and you didn't really know how guys went about it. So one of my friends from school was a big wrestling fan, and he heard about Kowalski School in Malden, and we went and checked it out, and that's when I signed up. I liked what I saw. I heard the name, and I knew, he produced some guys like Triple H and guys like that, so I joined up. The Eliminators.
Pretty early into your training in 2002, or not training, but into your run, you actually started getting some dark matches with the WWE. Did you ever Did you see those as opportunities to show what you can do, or did you just see those as another shot?
I mean, at the time, I was excited about it. I thought it was, it was definitely the next step, but I was hoping that it would, lead me to bigger and better things, but I'm still here. But I just looked at it as a good opportunity. I didn't really, think anything, more of it other than the fact that here's an opportunity for me to work for a company that I grew up watching and maybe a chance to do something more.
Now, you've also worked a few shows with TNA. Did you notice any big differences in the backstage environments between the two companies?
No, they were both professional. They both seemed to be run, as you would expect from a major league company.
Of course, your name is a very interesting name. Where did you come up with the name for Slyk Wagner Brown?
Well, my shoot name is Wagner Brown, and in school, Kowalski would always have me do things like land on my feet out of things, and one of the students there at the time, started calling me Slyck. So it saved me from trying to think of a name to come up, and I just put Slyck in front of my shoot name, and that's that.
The cool thing about that, too, is if you ever went to WWE, they can't own your name because it's actually your name.
Exactly. I didn't think of it at the time, but, over time when I seen what happened to all the other guys, I was like, cool, that's my shoot name, so that's me.
Now, you've also had the nicknames King of the Underground and the Black Superhero. Where did you come up with those?
The Black Superheroes is something from a fan mail. One of my fans sent me an email, and they were talking about how they saw me at a show and whatever, and saw my clips, and they sent that in the email, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. When I was a kid, I always, admired superheroes and stuff, so. And the Underground King, I got it from a rap song, 50 Cent rap song. So.
Memories of your 2003 match versus Dan Moss that received a standing ovation.
That was my first standing O, and it was cool because we definitely didn't expect it going in because that night was a crazy night. Nothing was going right, and everyone was running late because everyone had like double shots and all that. So that match we actually didn't have a lot of time to sit down together. We just went out there and just did it, And it was just cool to, we were two hungry guys at the time trying to prove ourselves, and went out there and had one of the best matches in that company's history.
And of course, you've worked with a lot of different indie promotions. Pretty much all of the big ones. Are there any that stand out in your heart as being favorites over others? I enjoy working for all the companies I work for, but some of the ones that stand out the most, companies like Cyberspace I'm working for now is called Shockwave. JP is definitely one of my favorites. When I came in, it was a company where you can, a lot of up-and-coming guys, a lot of talented guys were in the company, and have always been in the company. And, places like 3PW, they're no longer running, but
yeah,
it was definitely one of my favorite places to work because they actually gave me opportunities to work with bigger and better guys and prove myself as well. So companies like that.
Who was calling the shots backstage at 3PW?
When I first came in, it was Todd Gordon mostly, and towards the end, it was a Blue Meanie.
So it was never Jasmine St. Clair telling you how to wrestle?
No.
Okay. I was always trying to figure out, okay, she owns the company, and she's going to tell the guys how to wrestle. Don't know about that.
It was like that. She owned the company, and Todd Gordon was the booker and the agent and stuff like that.
How'd you get along with Todd?
Fine. Todd's cool. I had fun working with Todd.
You mentioned 3PW, and I believe January of 2005, this is one of the first matches I've really seen you wrestle, and I was very impressed. You had a three-way
involving AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels, and you also, in the company, the three of you had a four-way involving Chris Sabin. What are your memories on these matches?
Those matches were two of my favorite matches, and you know, it was also because they involved those guys constantly doing good things and, you know, making waves, and I look up to all three of those guys in wrestling. I admire people who, you know, go out and work hard, and, you know, it shows that you can actually go somewhere and do positive things if you work hard. And all three of those guys work hard, and it was definitely cool for me to be in there with those guys, because I consider myself to be a hard worker, and, you know, it's just so rewarding to be in there with guys like that.
So can we presume that you were pretty excited when you heard that you were going to be winning the 3PW title from Chris Daniels?
Yeah, I mean, I never expected that. So, I mean, when that happened, that was definitely cool, and the fans, you know, they appreciated it. They could have shitted on it, and they could have just not cared, but, you know, they definitely did.
You've won quite a few titles in your short career, in your career that's still going right now. Does any stand out as your utmost favorite? Does any title mean any more than any other?
They all feel special, because whenever a company chooses you to become their champion, that means they believe in you, and they think that you have what it takes to bring the company to the next level or do good business. So it's definitely, you know, good whenever you're going to win someone's title.
Let me ask you this then. We did an interview with Big Vito, and he was talking about, my last supper with the WCW U.S. title or something like that, and they're like, well, what do you mean? It's like, I have to lose the belt now. It's just like seeming so silly. Is there really that kind of attachment to holding the belt, or is he kind of a bird unto himself?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what other guys think, but for me, I mean, when the title comes, you know it's going to go. So, I mean, I don't really get too attached to it. It's just a title. I always have the saying that the belief that it's not the title doesn't make the man makes the title.
You mentioned earlier on working with the King. Also in that match was Mick Foley as the ref for the New England wrestling promotion. Were you excited to be working with King and Mick Foley, and how were they to work with?
Easy. I mean, easy. Those guys, they're pros. I mean, and just to be in there with those guys, I mean, it's, you know, it's definitely, you know, fun and exciting. I mean, it's...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
You took over in, I'm not sure what year, as being the head trainer of Kowalski's training camp. Are you still in that position now?
No, the school shut down about 2 to 3 years ago. I think it was 2003, I believe.
Okay. During that time, did you train anybody that may have received a lot of indie recognition nowadays?
When I was training in the school, yeah, there's guys like Eddie Edwards, I trained, Nicky Rocks, DC Dillinger. There's other guys, I'm not sure if they're still in the game. Those are the guys that are still in the game and doing things.
So what does it mean to you now to see them succeeding or see them wrestling on different shows?
It means a lot. It means a lot, because you can give these guys the basics, the fundamentals that they need, but it's up to them to go out and use it and build on that. And all three of those guys have done that. They've taken the training that I've given them, me and Kowalski, and they went out there and made something of themselves, and they continue to work hard.
Not to be a name dropper, but Hulk Hogan and JBL both gave me the same quote, and that's kind of why I give it to anybody who trains wrestlers or has trained wrestlers, and that is, the guys today learn the moves, but they don't learn wrestling. Do you think that that's a fair statement?
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest problem with young wrestlers today?
I mean, it's something that you see all the time. Everyone sees it. I mean, there's guys out there that can do cool moves and flips and stuff like that and exciting things. But when it comes to the basics, they have no clue, like psychology or just a basic wrestling match like holds and reversals or where to be and how to interact with the crowd. That's all your foundation. A lot of guys don't have that.
With that answer, I think I might know your answer to this question, but you've been working the indie scene since '97. Do you feel that the indie circuit has improved, stayed the same, or gotten worse over these years?
I would probably, it's hard to tell, but I'd probably say worse because when I first started out, I didn't notice a lot of things that I do now. So things are kind of different now. Other things that jumped out at me before don't jump at me like they do now. I can see different things now than I could back then. I don't know if it wasn't paying attention or you just don't recognize it. But it just seems that there's a lot of guys. It's easier to get into wrestling today than it was back then. Back then, you had to really prove that you wanted to be a part of like the family. You wanted to be in wrestling. This is what you really wanted. You had to prove yourself. So you took a lot of beatings and you didn't say anything and you just took them and you always kept coming back for more. So it just seems like today that's old school. Like no one does that anymore and anybody can just come in.
Yeah, like I'm up the training by getting trained by a guy who's not fully trained himself and a pair of cheap tights, and there you are.
Yeah. Sad but true.
I've had a couple people that I've spoken to, and they were telling me how they got trained, and I'm like, okay, now who was your trainer? And they're telling me, and I didn't even know who the guy was. I think that, I know it might be a prehistoric view on the business, but I think if you're going to be a trainer, you should have had at least moderate success.
Yeah.
And not just been a nobody. Maybe it's just me.
Or at least be trained by someone that people would recognize.
Yeah.
Today the opportunities are not as much as they were back then. I think guys had a bigger window of being successful in wrestling than they are today. Back then you had a lot of options. You had WCW, you had WWE, you had many territories to choose from. You had overseas opportunities like Japan and places, England, Puerto Rico, that you can make a name for yourself. Today, there's not many options. There's really just one company, and then there's TNA.
What do you think?
A lot of options on the major leagues right now.
Do you think Japan is kind of dried up?
I think so. Back then when I started, Japan was a big deal. If you went to Japan and you wrestled, that was a big deal. People knew about it, and you got a lot of opportunity on that. Whereas today, it just seems like it's just regular. It's the norm.
What do you think of the change in Japan? I know Inoki's kind of taken New Japan into a more shoot style of wrestling over there. Do you think that that's a bad thing for the business?
I'm not sure. I know that those guys are trying to compete with that style right now, shoot fighting, because it's very successful over there. It's packing houses and selling out, whereas wrestling is not really doing that. At least when I was there, it wasn't. It was on a decline. So I think it's just a way for them to compete. They think that, or they see the fans flocking to that style, so they're trying to change things up and hope that they'll come back.
Now, I remember hearing a few years back in an interview you did that one of your goals was to work Japan. You just spoke about having worked Japan now. Was it somewhat of a letdown for you?
No, definitely not. No, it was since the first day I came into wrestling. That's what I wanted to do. Of course, I wanted to be in the WWE because I grew up watching it as a fan, and I wanted to go to Japan because I used to watch a lot of tapes in Japan, and the guy that came over into WCW, like Muda, the Great Muda, and Chono, guys like that. I admired those guys, and I liked those guys, so I knew they were from Japan, and I definitely wanted to be over there and wrestle in Japan. I love the style. I love the competitiveness. It's not, all entertainment. It's sports and athletics and entertainment as well. Everything mixed into one.
Now, somebody you worked with a few times in the NWA cyberspace promotion is the current NWA champion, Jeff Jarrett. Now, I believe he was also the champion when you were working with him. How was Jeff to work with?
Great. I saw Jeff when I was watching it as a fan, and to come up and actually get trained in the business, and then later I had the opportunity to wrestle him was, I couldn't, dream it, or I couldn't write it. So, I mean, when that happened, it was great. I love it when I get to wrestle guys that I grew up watching. It just, to me, it feels like you're accomplishing things.
Cool. Now, is there any extra added pressure knowing that Jarrett has such a big hand in TNA?
I mean, not really. I mean, I knew, what he's capable of and that he runs that company, but to me it was just, a match. Go out there and have a good match. Go out there and entertain. Just go out there and do what I normally do. If something good happens, then something good happens, but I didn't try to work harder than I normally do or, do more than I normally do. It was just another match.
Last November in the cyberspace promotion, you worked with Maven, who of course won the Tough Enough competition. What were your thoughts on the Tough Enough competition?
At first, I didn't like it because it just, to me, was like an open invitation. Even if you don't want to be a wrestler, here's an opportunity for you to be on TV. And, a lot of people are going to jump at that. It's 15 minutes or the easy way or the quick route. And I don't know. But, I mean, they did it. There's nothing I can do about it. I know why they did it. So, I mean, it's business. But it just, to me, it was sending the wrong message.
Yeah. Do you feel that, for example, Maven, of course, went through there, and to my knowledge now, he's being released from WWE. He hasn't been out doing a lot of indie bookings. Do you think that they're going to be looked upon poorly on the indie scene because of how, quote unquote, easy they had it making into the business?
Yeah, the fans, the smart fans aren't going to, they're not going to welcome those guys with open arms. They're going to have to prove themselves. On the indies, it's different. On the indies, you got a ton of guys who work hard at it. People know how hard it is to survive on the indie level. It's very hard. It's not a walk in the park, and it's not easy. The competition is stiff. There's a lot of guys out there that want to make to the next level, and there's a lot of guys out there that work hard. They watch tapes. They go to the gym. They train, and they're gonna have it hard. They definitely have to come out and prove to the fans that this is what they want, and they're hungry. They're just not happy with Tough Enough.
I think one of my favorite matches I've seen you have was a 2 out of 3 falls match with Jay Lethal. What are your memories of this match?
That was good. I love that match. We just went out there and just busted our ass, man. Just, gave those people everything we had. And it was just 2 guys in the ring who love to wrestle, and that's it. And that's the end result. So.
Now, I remember at an ROH show, I believe it was in 2004, when Jay Lethal was changing from the name Hydro to Jay Lethal. You got on the microphone and you put him over as being one of the best young stars. Were you asked to say that, or did you really believe that?
No, that came from, that was what I wanted, that came from me. I've known Jay a long time. I've seen Jay come up. I was in Jersey All Pro when I first came in like 2002, and he was just coming into business, and he just finished training, and he was starting to do shows. So, I remember Jay from the locker rooms, and Jay's a nice kid, and all the success he's had. He works hard. I'm happy for him.
What led to you leaving Jersey All Pro last October?
Bookings. just conflict of interest as far as bookings. At the time, they weren't having their dates in advance, and I was doing a lot of bookings, and I have a policy where if I have a booking, I won't cancel it to take another booking. So they weren't happy with that. Of course, they had some shows that they wanted me to do, but I was already booked. So I told them that I wouldn't cancel my bookings, because that's something that since I came into the business, I've always been told just to honor your bookings. You know, your word is your bond. So whenever I gave my word, that's what I did. And if it was the other way around, that's exactly what I would have done.
Last year, you also, in the Ballpark Brawl series, you worked with Abyss a few times. I saw your first match with him ended in no contest, but I saw that you actually also had a bull rope match with him. How is Abyss to work with, and did you enjoy the bull rope match?
The bull rope match was fun. I wish that we had a chance to just do a straight up match, because Abyss is really cool to work with. He's one of the best big mans out there right now. I mean, the guy can move, and he can do stuff. So I like when I get a chance to work big guys, because it gives me a chance to just sell and bump around and, you know, do different things.
You said earlier that you got the King of Underground name from Epicenter CD, so I'm guessing you enjoy rap music, correct?
Yeah, rap and reggae, man, all day, every day.
So, what do you think of John Cena's rap gimmick?
The rap gimmick?
Yeah.
I mean, at first I didn't like it, you know, but I mean, it grew on me. I know Cena, so, and I think he did well with the gimmick. It was a gimmick that could have easily failed, and I thought he did the best that he could with it.
What do you think is the cause of his, shall we say, mixed reactions of late?
And just people are, they're just not feeling the thug white rapper gimmick. That's all. I mean, it's a hard sell.
So do you follow WWE and TNA regularly right now?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on both of their products?
The WWE product is you know, always been strong, and it's coming up again. I mean, with the DX reunion and everything like that, they're doing big things. The ECW project, TNA has always had, you know, there's an exciting X division. I mean, that's a top notch in TNA. I mean, they're the best cruiserweight division around, and they have a lot of talented guys in the company too. Young guys, hungry guys. So, I mean, you get a chance to see fresh faces as well as faces you've seen before. So I think definitely both companies are doing big things right now.
Sure. I haven't been in the business about 10 years now. What have become some of your favorite and your least favorite things about the wrestling business?
My favorite things is just the travel. I mean, being able to meet different people, see different things, go all over the world and do what you love to do. And, you know, some of the least favorite things right now is just opportunities. There just seems to be a lack of opportunity. But, you know, hopefully that will change.
All right. I believe I only have one more question. James, do you have any?
I do not. Can I make a request before we ask this last question? You're a pretty big guy. Please don't kick the shit out of us. All right.
Okay. We have one of our affiliate shows on the WrestlingEpicenter.com is 3 Count Wrestling, and a few weeks ago they had an interview with April Hunter. Of course, I'm sure you know where we're going with this. The allegations made last December. Would you like to state your side of the story?
Yeah. I never get a chance to speak about this. Everyone else has done so for me, I guess. But I mean, we had a disagreement. We we broke up, no longer together. But, I mean, the things that were on the internet is ridiculous. But, I mean, when it comes to me, that's, you know, I've grown to not accept, but expect that. And I just want to say that the things that people read on there was not true. I mean, we broke up, we had a fight, we had a disagreement like every couple and every normal person do. But ours was just blown way out of proportion. And I'm just happy to have survived that and go past that and just continue to wrestle and continue to refocus on my career and doing what I do best, and that's wrestle.
What do you think of the internet taking things like that and blowing it out of proportion and making everybody's lives, personal lives, what they don't see at a show, kind of part of their lives, right? Part of something that they worry about? What do you think of that?
It's the internet. I mean, they don't care. All they care about is that it'll get hits to their website and they get traffic and they build on that. They don't give a shit if it affects you or anybody else. They're just out for number one, themselves. And, you know, it's not cool. It's not good, but I can't change it. You can't change it. No one can change it. That's just the way it is. It's a beast. So, I mean, the only thing you can wish for is, or say, is just what goes around comes around. Maybe someday something like that will happen in their lives where something that is not a big deal gets blown way out of proportion and, you know, they can see firsthand how it feels. But I'm past that. Like I said, it bothered me at the time. Yeah.
Okay, basically say your name and that you're listening to the Weekend Warriors of Wrestling.
Okay. Anytime?
You want me to count you down?
Sure.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2.
This is the Underground King, Slyk Wagner Brown, and you're listening to the Weekend Warriors of Wrestling.
The preceding announcement was paid for by the Wrestling Epicenter.
I'm listening, and if you like what you heard, I'm glad. If you didn't like what you heard, well, go fuck yourself.
Most people don't hung up on me.
We had a lovely conversation.
What a show.
Oh, mercy, Daddy.
On your radio dial. Don't hang up. Bye-bye.